So I'm Kamera McGriff, as Jeremy just introduced me as. I'm the trainer for Realtors of Palm Beaches and Greater Fort Lauderdale. And we're going to go over Realist and Matrix, more like a comparison, because I know you guys are confused. What's the difference? They pretty much do the same thing. I mean, you say potato, I say, potato. Um, but what we're going to do is, before I get started, I'm going to just show you the different areas you can access both of those programs. And you guys know Realist and IMAP is where you would go if you wanted tax information. You guys want to try to turn off the light? Are you okay? Are you okay with this view? You need the light off? You good? Okay. Yeah. All right. It's like our third day in a row, right? Yeah, very good. I'm sorry for everybody. Oh, no, so good to see you too. We just saw each other yesterday and the day before. She came in for training. I just saw him on Saturday. We went to an event. How you doing? We went to a realtor trade show event, which was, it was pretty cool. So there's different ways you can access Realist and IMAP, and both of those. If you needed tax information on any property in Florida, you would go to Realist and IMAP, either one. Some people like IMAP, some people like Realist, some people use both. All right, so if you'll notice on the top of your matrix screen, right next to search, my matrix, you have Realist and you have IMAP. If you click on either one of them, it's going to open up to the program. You need to install your Adobe. What are you using, Google Chrome? Yes. You can use Google Chrome or you can use Internet Explorer, either one. You can even use your phone, which is pretty cool. Yeah, but you just update your Adobe, it'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to scroll down, guys. You see where I really don't have to scroll down. The external links here, guys. You can also access Realist and IMAP from here as well. Okay? Actually a couple other places. Under links, I don't know if you guys ever clicked on these links. I know we're so used to clicking on what we click on to do what we have to do. We don't usually look outside of, what we're used to clicking on. So I'm going to introduce you guys to links. Links right here are links to other websites, you guys. So you can access Realist and IMAP from here as well. Okay? So what I'm going to do here, Realist and IMAP. Here are all the other smart links, guys, other programs that we have available to you. But we're talking about Realist and IMAP today. All right? So if you click on any of those three place areas I showed you, which is under links, on the home page, on the bar here in the external links, you'll get the login for Realist or IMAP. So let's click on Realist and take a look at Realist to see what it looks like. And click on Realist. From the home page or from links, you're going to get the search screen. And it says, did I install update my Adobe? I'm not certain. It's loading, so I must have. So if you get that error message that your system is not up to date, just go ahead and run your Adobe Acrobat. Just run that to upgrade it. So this right here that you see is the Realist search screen. Notice it didn't bring any properties in because we didn't do a search. We wanted to start off with a search screen. So we click on Realist on the top of your matrix screen or in your external links or your smart links. This is the type of screen you get. All right. The last thing I was in was the ML search, but you can do, I'll show you guys a little bit more in just a minute. I'm going to go back to matrix and show you what the IMAP screen looks like. So I click on IMAP, and it should take me into the IMAP screen. You'll notice the last thing I was in, that's what's coming up. So let me just switch these over. It opens up, what I do like, guys, is that it does open up to the last thing I was in was the ML search. That's why it came up like that. But normally when you first come up, it's going to bring up the last thing that you clicked on, which is normally, for you guys, when you first log in, you'll probably bring up, when you click on Realist, it'll bring up your quick search. This is your tax. We can do a tax search. So this is Realist. I am so sorry, guys. That is basically, don't take it as being like rude right now. Just that's my alarm to let you guys know to turn off your phones, turn down your phones. It is one of those calls. Yeah, right. This is your reminder, Kamera, turn off your phone. So let's turn off our phones. I do apologize for that. All right, so notice this screen right here, guys. This is your IMAP search screen. And notice on the top of the screen here, you have tax search with all the fields that are available to you. We're going to go over that in just a moment. You can do an MLS search, just like you do in Matrix. You can do a search for properties here for listings that are currently on MLS. And pre-foreclosure, well, this is foreclosure search, but you can do a search for pre-foreclosures, any foreclosures right here in your IMAP. Did you guys know those three options were available? And I have something else to show you. You can actually go to, look at this, select your county. You can go to different counties as well. Now, you guys do realize with Matrix, being a part of the board, you have access to search for any listings in Florida. Did you guys know that? You can do search for any listings in Florida. You see here in IMAP, you could do a search for tax records anywhere in Florida. If you know that county, Osceola County, Duval County, Orange County, you just click on it and you run your search. This is IMAP we're talking about, okay? In Realist, same thing. I'm going to show you. Now we're back in Realist. Remember, I clicked on Realist and I have IMAP, so all three of them are here on top. Matrix, when you click on IMAP, a whole nother browser comes up. This is another tab, and Realist, another tab comes up as well. So I'm going to toggle between these two. Got it? So you don't get confused as to the type of screen you have. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Flex, I am sorry. No, but you can stay for IMAP. Flex does not have Realist. No, so sorry. You know what? Palm Beach and Greater Fort Lauderdale just merged. There's some things that Palm Beach have with their Flex that Matrix doesn't have. And there's some things with Matrix, vice versa. Okay, but hopefully when there's renewal for those contracts with the other vendors, we come together and have pretty much the same thing. So no, you do not have Realist. Flex users do not have Realist. Yes, sir. Again, it depends on what you like. Just go and learn both of them, and that way you'll know what you like and what you don't like. I'm sorry? Would I prefer RPR over Realist or IMAP? Over Realist? See, I know more about Realist, so I would probably be hanging out in Realist more. Which one does better? Comps? You're talking to a person who understands comps very well. So it depends on the user. So, I mean, whatever you put in for your search criteria, whatever you're looking for, it's all about how you search. It's all about how you search. What you're talking about the report formats? Okay, so we're talking about which report formats do I like, or how to get a better price for the customer. How to get a better price for the customer depends on the criteria you enter. The better report is according to what you like. RPR has some very nice reports. If my colleague Kim was here, she would like, oh, I love RPR. I love their CMAs. I love their formats. And then I have people who say, oh my God, I love Matrix format. And some people say, I don't need all that jazz. I'm okay with Realist. I'm okay with, they all give great. I even have something else to show you a little bit later. Show you how to even confuse even more with comps, which ones to choose. So, I know, right? All right, so back on Realist, guys. Realist, believe it or not, has the same capability as searching, except they start off with a little quick search. Your general fields, but you can change these fields when you want to search. And Realist, guys, I hear you way up here. All right. In Realist, we start you off with a quick search, but you can also click on the general search. This is a general search, which has more fields. Remember in IMAP how I showed you where you can do a foreclosure search, you can do an MLS search, you can do that as well in Realist. We have these general fields here. See? These fields with the little yellow icons on the left, these are the ones that we created for you. So you have the general search, which has a lot of fields, the ones that we chose. You cannot delete these little searches here. You have foreclosure. You can do a foreclosure search. If you click on any one of these, it's going to load for you. Like if I click on MLS search and I click on open, then you'll get the search screen for MLS search. See? Right here on the top left, you'll see MLS search. This is where you get the names. Now, you'll also notice, though, that I have some custom things here. I have the search, and I have the form. I have a search, I have a form. I created those. I can delete those. So that goes to show us that we can create our own search in Realist. You can create your own search in IMAP as well. But I had to come to this section to show you how to get to the foreclosed and owner search, MLS search search screens. I'm sorry, say that again? Right here where it says open. See, when I'm in IMAP, you have the tabs on top here. If I want to do an MLS search, I click here. If I want to do a foreclosure search, I do that. Tax, I have to decide on which type of search I want to do when I come here. If I click on that little Realist, if I click on Realist or IMAP here, it takes me to a screen where I can choose which type of search I want to do. In Realist, whatever came up, whatever you used last is what is going to come up, display on the screen. But let's say you want to do a tag search. The last thing you did was an MLS search. Just click on this little yellow folder, and it gives you the option to choose which type of search you want to do. So if I wanted to do a foreclosed search, I click on that. It'll bring up all the fields. I can't hear. You know what? Let me warn you guys. This ear right here. Let me tell you what happened real quick. Sidebar. Saturday before last, I decided to use a home ear cleaning solution, and this right here was kind of stopped up, my right ear. And it's okay, it's a little bit better, but this one right here was like, oh, there was no problem. Don't fix something don't break something that's already fixed. I decided to clean this anyway, the left ear, and now I can barely hear from that ear. So if I ask you guys to repeat yourself, it's not because I can't hear you. That's all right. Okay. So when you open that list of like right, those the ones with the yellow are the ones that are yeah. But I only have 4, so you added some of them. I added the ones with the X. They have X's next to them. I created those. If you don't have anything in yours, you didn't create any. You didn't save anything. You didn't save anything. I created searches. I can create. I can modify. I can add the fields that I want to be on the screen. That's creating a form. I can save that form, and I can create a search where I can put data in, and I can save it. It's called search. You're showing us how to. I'll do as much as I can. Okay. But here are the options right here. If I want to create a new search, I just click on that little white box there, and it gives me all these options to go through. And once I select them, they're going to come on the screen, and I can go ahead and at that point save it if I want to and give it a name. It's just that simple, guys. Just that simple. All right. So remember I told you can search for any properties in Florida? In IMAP, I showed you guys in IMAP, right? Well, in Realist, same thing. I just click on change my region here. The difference, though, between the IMAP and the Realist, which is it's pretty interesting. Do you guys see right here on the bottom left where it says 1 of 8 selected? 1 of 8 selected right here on the bottom left here. Right here, 1 of 8 selected. I can select that many counties and do one search. You know, I was thinking, why would a person want to look up more than one county? Why would you want to search for properties in more than one county? I know we're talking about the tax records. Why? You guys have any idea? Let me tell you the one thing I thought of. If someone was looking for properties 5 acres or more, 5 acres or more, and they want to live in, it doesn't matter in Florida. If you just want this section of Florida, You choose select a region. You put in those areas that your person is interested in. And when you do your search, just look for acres 5 or more. Anything else, guys? Any other reason why a person want to do more? Referral base for a tax. Tax, I'm sorry? Because we're talking about the taxes right now. I'm sorry. Okay, there you go. That's a good one, too. That's a good one to see what the taxes are like in those other areas. That's a good one. That's actually a good one. You should be able to. Let me show you this real quick while I'm in Realist. All of the fields that are available to you for searching is right here where it says edit attributes. Now, if I'm in quick search, I don't see edit attributes. My search allows you to click on edit attributes, and you'll be able to see all the fields that you can select. Once you select them, they go over to the right over here. So if I select air conditioning, you see how it moved over to the right there? So once I select all the fields I want to use, I click on apply, they come on this screen. So you need to go through here and see what fields are available. If you want to look for equestrian property, then yeah, go through here and find those fields, add them, and that way you can search for them on the left. I'm talking about tax right now. But if you want to do it, well, actually, this was ML search too. Either one. Those attributes are available. That's a status. That is a status, yes. If you go to the status, it shows you. And we're talking about in Realist here. Here are your options here. And in IMAP. IMAP is pretty interesting. Remember, here are all your different counties, but I don't see where it allows me to select more than one county. Remember my question was, why would a person want to look up more than one county? I can understand if they want to know those, do a side-by-side comparison of the tax in a certain area, but also if they're looking for, some people just want a big piece of property and you can't really just find them, so you do a county search and you put that in there. But in IMAP, I don't see where you can select multiple counties here. Well, not with a drop down. It doesn't really. Okay, it doesn't really. Yes, sir. What's your question? Okay. Now, whenever there's a drop down, you can't, and it does that, close like that, you can't really make any selection. It has to be like a list. But when you do go into Realist and IMAP, make sure you have the correct county selected. Maybe one day you're planning Volusia, now you have a real search and you want to search Broward, and I can't find this property. So make sure your area that you want is selected. Okay? So now in IMAP, remember I showed you the attributes. If you want to add certain fields, maybe they're not here, you want to see if there's another field, you go to edit attributes, select the fields you want to be able to search by. That's how you do that in Realist. In IMAP, these are your search fields, and you also have and or. When you click on the drop-down menu here, you have all the search fields. See that? All the search fields. And if you go to the next drop down here, all the search fields, they're the same search fields. Why would I have the same search field in every one of those drop downs? Well, let me give you an example. If someone wants to do a search by owner, let's say zip code, I want to search for, oh, here's a good one. In fact, I'll do this one. I like this one here, guys, subdivision. This subdivision search is I like it because when you click on it, you can, here are your other fields, but you have two options to search by subdivision. Let's say I want to look up this subdivision. I want to use this one here that says select, subdivision select. On the right of that, here are all the subdivisions. You just click on the one that starts with whatever letter. Do you guys have a subdivision that you like to search in? Maybe I can try one of your subdivision. None? Crest? That starts with the C, right? So it starts with the C. I'm going to click on this one here, entry starting with a C, right? So once I click on that, I click on it again, and now I can look for Crest Haven, which is pretty cool because they have all the subdivision names in here. Come on, where's the Crest Haven? Ah, sorry. I'm sorry? We call it Crest Haven. That's the popular name? I used to say that's the popular name, not the legal name. Come on, I want to. Let's do this. There's a lot of castles there. I like the fact that it's not just one name. Like, see where it says Central Industrial Park? It actually has the 1 and the 2, and the section 1 and 2 and 3. And it also has just the central part. So let's say I want, oh, there's a good one. I know you said Cresthaven, but we're all familiar with, let's just choose Casa. That Castle Apartments condo. Let me try something, guys. I never really tried this. So let me clear this field. Go back to the subdivision field. Did not want that one. All right. You want to see. Notice it clears that out. And I want to see if it was going to allow me. Oh, CR. I just typed real fast CR, and it gave me the CR section because there's a lot of C's in there, and I wanted to get to Cresthaven faster. So let's see. Cresthaven, right there. There's a lot of Cresthavens. Do you know which one? What's the difference? Just different sections, what they're named. But how do you know what section? All thing I can tell you is to just look it up. Now, let's say I believe it's Cresthaven 7, right? And I wanted to look up another Cresthaven. I can go through here and choose all the. This is what I do like about the search. It allows me to use multiple of the same types. So here's another subdivision. I can choose C again. And I can choose another Cresthaven if I wanted to. Or let's say let's imagine this is, and make sure this says or. Well, actually here. There we go. There we have it right there. Well, you know what? Here, right here. Now, let me show you this. On this search type here, this is where you choose equals to, not equals, and starts with. But what you want is this here. You want to know if he can type in the word instead of selecting it. Yes, you can. Remember those, what I liked about the subdivision, you can make a selection, but you can also, sir, I'm answering your question, input. Starts with, contains, crest. Crest, even. See? There you have it. So the select allows you to make selections of what we already have in the list. But you notice I can choose multiple. So I wanted subdivision equals to Cresthaven 7 or this or that. You guys got that? When you're in the text search tab, this is pulling directly from text records. Not subject to MLS, whether or not I'm in tax. This comes straight from the tax database. Yes. The tax records come straight from the tax database in Broward County. You guys already know that's BCPA. Oh, you're curious? We're going to get a lot of properties, though. I mean, I am. But I want you to add different search fields. And remember, if you're going to search multiple things, make sure you check on the left here, or, like, for instance, the same search types, search fields, use your or, unless you want something and. I want this and that. So it has to say Cresthaven and it has to say Grego. You don't want that. You want to say, you want to pull up the part that says Cresthaven 7 or Cresthaven that. That way it pulls in. You guys understand that? All right. Going back to Realist. With Realist, you guys saw that if I wanted to search, I have a all right, I could choose, and you have your different attributes here. Let me go back into tax, though. I just want to do a tax search. I don't want to, sorry. Come on. General search. All right. Here are your different search fields here. And here are your attributes. And the one I wanted was subdivision. Oh, it's already on there. I just didn't see it. Okay. Was there. And don't forget, and when you're searching in Realist, you do have these little drop downs. If you don't want them to show, you just click on the little drop down here to hide the field if you don't want it. See that? Or click on it to reopen it. You have these options here on the right where you can, once you've made selections, you can clear those values or delete this field altogether. I'm going to click on this, and let me do my search for Crest, Haven. Ah, yeah. And I'm going to search. And here are my Crest Havens. Here's one right here you might want, sir. Remember you asked, could you do a wild card? You probably choose this one right here to do your wild cards. But that other one was 7. And I'm going to hold my control key down, and we'll choose that one as well. And move it over to the right. Did you guys notice how I did that in Realist when you click on the select, do your search, and it bring up every subdivision that starts with whatever you're looking for? Okay, and then move them over to the right. All right. So just to make these searches equals, I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't need this. In fact, let me clear it this way. Just clear that field altogether. All right, so we have contains, that other one was, okay. We have contains and IMAP. We have these two options here. Let's see if we get the same amount of results. I'm just curious myself. Someone say, run that search. Let's run that search. There we have it. Here's your search. If you look above the list here, how many records are there? 109. Let's go over here to our IMAP. Let's run that search there and see what happens. 1770. But again, we use contains though. I didn't use start with. Let me do a starts with. Refine this search, and let's do a starts with instead, and see how many we get. 1770. Okay, there's a difference here. I'm in the general search here. Whenever you want to go back and you have this list, guys, as long as you have a list, you can click on refine to take you back. On your right there. Crest Haven 7, Crest Haven starts with. This one here gives me Crest, oh, I say is Crest Haven. I need to change that. There should be an option to allow me to change that. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, we should have a starts with on that. That one is actually saying equal to, and it doesn't. It should give me an option to starts with. Like this one has a begins with. This one says is. I should be able to change that. Give me an option from the list. I have to check on that. I should be able to change and have this or that. But you guys see what the difference is. If this was starts with, it would have the same amount of records as the one in IMAP. You guys got that? All right. So I just wanted to show you just the basics for now as far as how to do a search. We're going to go back into search a little bit more, but there's other things I need to show you. In the program, in fact, let's do this. Let me, I'm not going to do a search. I'm going to cheat and grab something off the market watch. Let's say I went into search, I pulled up property, and now I want the tax information. In your matrix, the dollar symbol is Realist. The I is IMAP. If I click on either one of those, it's going to bring up the program. And it's going to bring up the program with the tax information for the property. Okay? So let me just show you real quick. I'm going to click on Realist, and it opened up a whole nother window. And you'll see that it gives me the tax information in Realist. When I go back and I click on IMAP, I think it's the same property. It overwrote the Realist screen and brought up IMAP. Disrespect. And these are the results in IMAP. It looks different, right? I almost closed this screen. Sorry, guys. Let's move that. Okay. Realist, IMAP. Yeah, about this screen. Now that I'm in Realist, let me click on Launch Realist on the top left. Okay. I want to put them on equal grounds because if you notice when I clicked on the Realist, it brought up that report that wasn't so appealing, and you have to scroll down. If you notice on this screen here, I have more options. I'm going to show you where they are. Let me go back to my, yeah, let me open it in a different, open a new tab. Let's not disrespect the other one. So you see how you have the map view and you have the tax information in IMAP and Realist. Remember when I first clicked on Realist, it brought up to that one screen of information. You didn't really have a map view. So what I did was I clicked on Launch Realist so that I can get the same options here. I got these, the property, picture of the property here. But if I scroll down, I have other options here. Um, Here we go. I have more information with a picture, but I also have other options here on the top, comparables, market trend, what have you. But this is, to me, is a better view. Okay. That's market trend just for that area. At 30 properties. You can change it if you want more properties, if you want to go out further. So I just wanted to show you what the report looks like when you first click on it. This is what we had before when I clicked on it. I can click on the market trends on top, but there's no picture and there's no map either. This is Realist. When you first click on the property, the dollar symbol here. If you go to the listing, you have those icons on top as well. It's going to bring you to the map of your choice, whichever one you click on. The difference is if you're in a full view and you click on the folio number, it's going to take you to IMAP. You don't have the choice to choose Realist at that point. What I do like about them both is whether I'm in IMAP or I'm in Realist, if I click on this folio number, you know it's going to bring up CPA, Broward County Property Tax Appraisals. Then when you, Andy, see right here where I have the folio, I'm in IMAP, but do you see the folio number? Once I click on that, it's going to take me to the original source. The original source, guys, is Broward County Property Tax Appraisals for Broward County, the county tax records. Okay. Now you have Realist and you have IMAP who takes that information and put it in a better format for you, even with more information as well. So if you notice in IMAP, you have all the tax information here on the left. ID, type, property type, the mailing address, the property address, the use code, vacant residential. It has basically the basic information. And you have the location of the property here. Lots of little push pins here. You know what those? Let me just uncheck this here, guys. Pre-foreclosure. I'm going to remove that check mark. Now we can see our property a little bit better, right? See these little color flags here? If I just want to see if there's any active properties in the area, when I click on that little active there, it's a lot of active properties there, right? I'm going to uncheck that. Any expired properties. Expires go back, I believe, 2 years. And then you have pending, you have canceled, closed, and you have foreclosures here. That's what you have when you have the map up. Yes, sir. I'm sorry? Yeah, that right there was for foreclosure here. That is very true. You can modify that criteria. Right. Well, just know they had some foreclosure issues at the time. Yes. They're not currently. Thank you very much for pointing that out. Again, you're asking someone who knows how to search. It's according to what criteria you put in. I what has been your experience? Have you tried all three of them? He wants to know if which one searches best. What I only thing I can tell you is it's according to the criteria you put in. That's what makes the difference. That's what makes the difference. I can't even answer that. You know, if you put in a certain criteria in one and not the other, you're not going to get the same information. So, which one searches better? Which ones find the best information? They both get their information from BCP. They get all three of them get their information from BCPA. Does BCPA allows you to get foreclosure information? Do they have a screen where you can search for foreclosure? Hence, Realist, IMAP, and RPR. They have created a way for you to pull up that information just by doing a search, but it's according to your criteria. As far as report format you like, they all grab their information from BCPA. All right, so if you look at this report here, we have the value information section. We have the sales information section. And you know what I do like is that I can click on this document and get more information about this people's personal business on their property. Look at these documents. When you click on them, it shows you more information about the property. Warranty deed. So you get more information. And you know what's beautiful about the access you guys have? The more information you have, you're more competent as a realtor. So now you'll be able to pretty much answer your customers' questions about every time. So yeah, this is these extra documents if you want to look further into the property information, building information, assigned schools. I don't know if you guys realize assigned schools are here. And then you have flood zone details. And if you click on the link that leads you to FEMA, you get even more information about flood zones. So that right there is your IMAP, that detail screen. Now I'm going to go right back here to the Realist. Realist allows you to get the owner information, the location information. Again, if I click on this tax ID, it's going to bring me up to BCPA. You have your sales information, your assessed tax information, characteristics of the property, estimated value, listing information, sales history, foreclosure history right here, side-by-side comparison. Okay? And of course, you have other information here on top, the comparables, the market trends, and the, let's see if it takes me back to that report that we had before. Come on, work for me. It's loading. Hopefully that one report, there we go. It took me there. This is what happens when I click on Launch Realist. That first time it works. The second time it brings me to a search screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to click on Realist from here. Hey, Jonathan. All right, so let's try that again. Launch Realist from there. I do like that format. Treat me right. See that the first time it works. So you have your, again, the property detail information. Same screen we were in before, but now it gives us a picture. Look at that map there. Remember, we didn't have a map on the other one, but we have a map here now. They pretty much give you the same information. Realist, I'm going to click on comparables here. We did not go through preferences, but preferences, if you'll notice on the top of the screen here, this allows you to set your defaults. What type of report do you want to come up when you click on a tax record? When you do your comps, what is the base information you want to start off with? And when you different types, you can set up your email signature. There's also just other preferences. I'm going to go through that just a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys what you came here for, which is what they look like. All right, so we're in the comparables. Here's a summary of the subject property. You guys probably wondering what these colors are. If you hover over any one of these little icons, it shows you what they are. This one has photos. This one right here is sold. And then you have this one, this little icon right here. Okay, bank owned. I love this new technology. You just hover. If you don't know something, just hover over it. The other screen with the IMAP here, remember I showed you guys these little options here on the bottom? You can do that here in Realist as well. You have your little push pin here, and you can choose, whichever color you want to represent, the foreclosures. If you select any one of these, they'll start popping up over the screen as well. So they both have where you can see if there's any distressed properties in the area. One thing I did notice, though, when I click on the push pin, you'll notice that it's kind of grayed out. I can't click on it. So what you got to do is zoom in. And once you zoom in, so let me just click on one of them just so I can prove to you guys that it works. So let's look for, what is the bank owned, right? Bank owned. Let's do that. Let's zoom in. All right, so it's going to give me a closer view. And you'll see that? Once you zoom in, you have any bank owned in this area? I'm sorry? My internet dropped? No, it's still working too. Okay, so we may have one here. Come on. It says bank owned. There's no bank owned here. Let's see if there's any foreclosures. Free foreclosure. Let's try that one. Wow, what area did I choose, right? Back up some. There we go. There we go. It was me. It was me, guys. Getting impatient. But you see what happens? In the IMAP, I showed you where if you click on one of those little flags, it'll show the areas, the properties around it. And the same thing here. And if you click on any one of these properties, it'll show you information about the properties. Okay? So what I want to do is go through these little tabs here on top. Again, these are the comps here. Since I'm in comparables, let me show you what is it basing off of. What is these comps? What is it about these comps? Why did you choose these properties? If you go here where it says modify here, you can choose. Oh, I'm sorry. No, right here. Come on. Yeah. Comparables criteria right here. How many comps do I want to pull up? What's the sort method I'm using? Include the image or no? Include the value projected? No or no? Do I want the data source to be just from MLS or text or both? How far back do I want the distance to be from my subject property? So these right here, these are the default settings that I have selected. But what if I want to modify that when I run my comps? I can modify those. You guys, and once you make your selections here, just click on save and submit, and it will update. So right here, guys, save and submit will save as your new default. So you might not want to click on that one. Just click on submit. That way, just use them and not modify your default. Again, we went to modify. We went to search to modify the comps that come up, the type of. When you run your search, and if you look on the top of the screen here, see my different options here? I was on this screen. You remember how I got to this screen? I clicked on the property to bring it up. And yeah, I went to launch Realist and it came into this format here. And now I have the comps here. It just grabbed those properties around it that match the criteria, my default settings, but I can go in there and modify it. Now, if I'm in IMAP, though, and I have this property up, I can click on Find Comparables right here on the second, on the right here. The second option here, the second section. Yeah, so when I click on Find Comps here, it's going to bring up comparable properties. See that? Subject property right here. The screens look kind of different. You know, here's the summary in Realist, but on IMAP, here's the summary here. Here are the properties in the map in Realist. Here are the properties here in IMAP. So look at this here, guys. Gives me like a little statistics here in the projected sales. But what I want to show you guys is, remember, I'm in the Realist, I went to modify if I want to modify my criteria. Remember, I went here. And IMAP is right here in the center of the screen. You can modify your criteria here as well. So when you run your search and you run those comps, you have complete control over what information is pulled in. And here are the comparable properties. And in Realist, same thing. Here are your comparable properties here. Oh, it's there, just there. We have 9 of them. Trying to scroll down, but I believe this little thingy here is in. Okay, try not to hang up on the people who are watching. I almost clicked you guys off. That's what that weird sound was just now, guys. And let me show you guys something which is pretty cool. If you're in a search here, you have your little comps up here. You can just click on the property. It should bring up that property. In fact, let me just go back to the search. This one's different. In IMAP, you click on, in Realist, when you click on it, it'll bring up the property information, show you that property information. I can't even answer that. I will tell you this. I worked for CoreLogic for 14 years, and I don't remember which one we got first. I'm sure if I go into help, I can find it out, but I don't remember which one we got first. When I started with the companies in real before CoreLogic, and I don't remember which one we got first. I think we got Realist first, but we could have gotten IMAP. Actually, we used to get BCPA. That was one of the first things because that's a Broward County property appraisers. But yeah, and then you have market trends on top, guys. I want to, can I move this over? So that is I can't scroll. I can't scroll. That property is based off that property first. That property first. Kamera. One second. Let me just do this real quick. The market trends. Here's some additional criteria you can select here. You just want the single family, or you want the condo. You want the monthly trend, or you want the geographics. Remember, I clicked on search to get to that. Yes, ma'am. Just so you guys know, I would love to show you more market trends, but when I click on this here, I'm in danger of shutting down this program that allows people away from here remotely to see. But let me click here and scroll. There we go. There we go. Here, this market trend is. Let me answer your question real quick before I continue. What was your question? We're not there yet. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. She wanted to know how to do she had a question about foreclosure search, and we're not doing that. I'm just showing you the different reports right now, okay? But we'll get there. So look at the pricing trends. There we go. Some of the information in here is just, believe it or not, people like to see this stuff. You have it accessibly right here in Realist. Here's your neighborhood and from the neighbors. What is it about my neighbors? I know, right? Look at this. Look at the neighbors, guys. So I can scroll down. Information about your neighbors. This is me right here. These are the people around me. Let's find out about their properties. And here's your next to get to the next set of properties here. Always, guys, if you want to know if there's something else you can do from this screen, just click on Modify, and it'll give you the option to choose. Okay? Maybe you don't want to display the map. You can just uncheck it there. All right, neighborhood profile. This one is very interesting. You're all up in people's business here. I look at this, I'm like, okay, how many divorcees are there in this neighborhood? This book I was reading, this guy said, I don't want to mess with divorcees and widows. You might want to know where the divorcees are, right? So here we go. How many females in the neighborhood? Single guys? Okay. On the right and right here, you have, look at, see the divorce section there? That's what got me. Widows, separated, singles, married. How much is rented? How much is owned? Yeah, but you have all this in, yeah. Stuff you didn't realize you had in here. Yeah, but this is the neighborhood profile. And you can decide on how far back you want to search to. So look at this. Quality of life. You know what? I don't think so. Well, look, guys, white collar. There's some white collar in this neighborhood. A lot of blue collar. Where's that information grabbed from? Um, Probably from the census, United States Census. I really don't know. Maybe local, from the local census. I'm not certain. Sorry. You got it from a program that realtors only have access to. I'm still wondering that. Are you guys blue or white collar? Seriously, you're self-employed. Uh, I mean, and look, you wear your suits, right? We wear our pantyhose and heels. Look at the commute, guys. So people might want to know this. The weather has the weather information, education. This is interesting right here, guys. Look at the meter here. Schools. Look at this, students per teacher. This is really good information. This is realist, guys. Waterfalls, restaurants, and lounges. Look at that. Can we sit in IMAP? Can we? Oh, that's right. We have some flex girls in here. So sorry. So sorry. We're gonna get there. Here we go. This is not even an RPR class. The second person to mention RPR in here. All right. So if we'll look here on the IMAP have some nice stuff too. They both have nice stuff. Okay. All right. If you click on any one of those, it should bring up the information on the property. But here on the right is where you're going to find your demographics. But IMAP has it. Did you guys ever click on the county pictometer right here? I thought that was pretty cool. But let me click on the first one here, the stats. Inventory and zip code over the last 24 months. That is the statistics, MLS stats, guys. Okay. Then you have the county pictometer, which I thought it was just me, something to just a little fluff here, guys. But you might want to see it. This to me is really amazing to me, and it might not be for you guys, but I really did. Let me zoom in some. You actually have a view of every side of that property. You're not there. If you have Google Street Map, yeah, you can see the front of the house and drive down the street with Google Street Maps. And you can see, if you see, look at the satellite view of properties, you can see the roof. But this one here, you can actually, if you look right here on the left here, you can see every side of this house. So it gives you a good idea as to what the house looked like every side. You see that? Every side. And to me, that's good to know. That's really good to know, especially if you have your customer there and they you want to go show them the property, but they really don't want to, they want to know what it looks like around the house. You can show them this. Can you email this to them? I don't believe there's an email option here. I don't. Let me move this over and see. Yeah, I do snip it a lot. I didn't want to say that one, but yeah. Yeah. Windows have a feature where you use snipping tool. I use that all the time. Or screenshot, which has always been a thing, yeah. But that is the pictometry view. I do like that view. This one right here. Counted pictometry. Demographics, guys. Look at those demographics. Since we have some flex girls, they want to spend more time in IMAP. They don't want to hear about what natures have, which is realist. That's okay. Demographics. Okay. Person's household per children. You asked about that age, right? Yeah. You don't know any 18-year-old, anyone under 18. Now, how accurate is this if a person just turned 18, right? Like 2 days ago or last week. So, yeah, person's household per children, occupancy, rent versus own. I do that is very important to me when I'm looking at property. When I was looking at properties, I did not want to live by apartments. And I wanted to know if most of the people there were owners. So that to me is very important when looking for properties as a consumer. House medium year build, education, guys, family type. What type of family is this? Married, single, place appointment, work in the county, work outside of the county. Look at this, outside the county, year built distribution, occupation. You could change how far back you want it to go. This is 1 mile out. Maybe you want a closer radius view. RPR. We'll click on that, okay? We're going to click on RPI, ladies, back here, okay? RPR. You can access RPR from here, IMAP. Sorry, guys. I have to look for my ID. I never logged in there like that. Let me get that. We'll come back to that. I want to hold you guys up while I pull up my ID. All right. So this right here, guys, is the IMAP. Let me click on back here. Back. I mean, you guys pretty much understand Google Maps, driving directions, all these other things, email view, print. If you wanted to create mailing labels, guys, you do need to be in a list to get that option. If I can get to the results here. It doesn't give me a refine here. All right. You're welcome. I hope I was able to help you even a little bit. He told me before he was class started that he was going to be leaving. Have a good day. Close this out. All right. And then this is where we start our IMAP. But we want to start from a list of properties. I wanted to show you how to access the labels. If you run a search, you can just click on, we're in Realist. This is create labels. And you could choose, the default is usually Avery 5160. In the IMAP program, I was hoping I had one with a list open. That's the detail report, property tax. Let me just close out of here because I really don't want to waste your time, guys. I want to do this quickly because we're doing more than one property. More than one program. All right. I was just there. Give me a list here. Let's see if it gives me the option when I find comparables. I normally just do my search and then I'll get some properties and then I'll get that option. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's do this. Property tax. New search, that's what I'm looking for. New search. And let me show you guys this right here, which is pretty cool, guys. If I wanted to search by map here, because I want to pull up some property really fast, I want to pull up Pompano. You guys okay with that? Yep. Pompano Beach here. And when you select your map, then it'll bring the map to that area, Pompano Beach. When you select the city. So now I'm just going to select, move this back over, go up some. All right. Now I'm going to choose this little polygon and just choose, I just want to be cute right here, guys. There we go. Polygon, gotta love the polygon, right? All right, there we go. And if I'm okay with this, I want to go ahead and confirm the selection. I just want to bring up some properties so I can show you guys. I'm okay with that search. Just search it for me. And you'll notice here on the left, we have create mailing labels. So if you have a list of properties, you do have that option to create labels. Just click on create labels here. Make your selections on what type of labels you want. What you want the fields to be like, and just create the labels. Create labels in this format. That otherwise is going to be in PDF. Yes. Mm-hmm. Only to put the icon of directly on your phone, like 2 or 3 times to get to the site to log in. I'm going to get the icon of Matrix directly on my phone, so I can click on it. Yes, there is. Give me a sec, okay? That's the type of one I want. Occupant. Do I want to, if I want to customize it, I can. Coming up. iPhone or you have Android. If I heard there's an ongoing process generating, I clicked it too many times. What do you have, an iPhone? Yes. Okay, in the iPhone, there's an option there where you can click, oh my God, I'm trying to remember. Bring it here for a second. I have to see it. I'm not an iPhone user, but if I see it, I know what it is. On the bottom, if I'm not mistaken, there's a square with a little arrow. Yeah. Once you're in the program, you open a program, you want to create a shortcut, there should be an option on the bottom with a little square. Let's see. The square with the, let's see. Go ahead and bring up Matrix for me. All right, did I click up? Did it generate my report? Come on. I can't scroll. Here we go. Waiting for IMAP, okay. Waiting. All right, here we go, guys. All right, your labels are finished. Here's right here, guys. When I click on that, it brings up the mailing labels. I chose occupant, so there you go. That's what I wanted to say. I could have customized that name, but I just wanted to choose something real quick to show you guys how you can create that label. All right. Let me get out of here. And let's go back to my results. All right. So if I click on any one of these properties, it's going to bring up the information for that property. You guys see that? All right. And I think there's not really much more to show as far as the options you guys already know. If you wanted to, once you bring up a report, everything you need to know is here. And you have your options on the right. That's in IMAP. And in Realist, pretty much the same thing. You want to see this property, or even Realist is. So is there a way in IMAP? Let me show you one thing. And in Realist, you have to understand this, guys. When you want to close out of this section, close out of this report, it's right here. I can't move this. It says close. This is what I'll do. There we go. and we're going to move this over if I can. We're going to drag this out. Only because I don't want to shut out our people. See that close report there? That's how you get back to your list. Again, I'm going to open up a property that way, and it brings up all the information about this property. All the properties in the list are right here on the right, but if I need to go back to my list, click on Close Report, okay? That right there can be confusing at times. How do I get back? What was your question, sir?
So on IMAP, you have eight tabs.
Yeah.
Your tax information, which is owner, you have MLS.
Right.
Is there a way to combine those?
What do you mean?
So you have MLS information,
Okay.
which does not list the.
Yeah, there's a, in IMAP, you wonder if you can combine the two reports.
Yeah.
Sure, let me just pull up the properties. Here's property here, the type of view you want.
Do a general search.
And once you pull up the property, will you have the,
A list of. I'll talk to you.
yeah, you want to see the tax information and MLS information.
All of
Sales information, the MLS information right here. Keep looking. And do you want this combined?
Yeah.
And this is the information it gives you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now can you create a list?
Now you want the list?
I want to export a section.
So let me go back to my list. I need to go back to my list. All right. When I download, you want to download?
I want to combine them.
Let's see what it gives you. This is what it gives you. Download layout, full tax, owner address. This is the full tax record. You want the MLS information and you want the tax information of everything in the list. Here are your options. No, this is it. You can't get the full record though. You can get your mailing labels if you want to download those into different formats, but it does not give you the option for the tax and the MLS. What do you think about that report though, that combined report?
I like it, but I'd like it
more detailed?
Well, no, that's.
You're welcome.
I'd like to have some section. That's okay.
So let me just see something real quick. If I save as PDF, nope, doesn't give me an option. Print this page. Sorry. Nope. But you do get the combined report to view, yeah, one at a time. You don't want to have to keep printing like 1,000 times? Yeah, I know there's always this one person that just go a little bit deeper. And even if I don't understand, you understand what you want. That's very important. As long as you understand what you want. I am not here to judge you because I learned from you guys, to be honest with you. I wanted to show you guys the where you can customize your information, your defaults. You know, before I do that, before everybody leaves, how about we start from search here? And let's run an ML number search. The map, guys, I just showed you guys how to select your area, and you can pull up the map from there. If you click on the map here, you can start your search from there if you wanted to. Okay, but what I want to show you is when you're doing a listing search, let's try a new search. Yeah, I'm trying not to close out the people who are watching remotely. We have questions here? If you see a question, I have no problem if you guys yell it out. What do you do if no comparables come up? You have to refine your search. It's usually whatever you put in. For instance, I have run into problems where when I did a search, the property, no properties came up, no comps came up. So that means I had to either eliminate some of my criteria, because the more criteria you enter, the least amount of properties you're going to come up with. So if I just search by, let me make this maximize this again. If I'm using bedroom and bathroom, I take the bedroom and bathroom out. Or if I look for properties with a pool, I'll take out the pool. Or if I'm searching for properties within a half a mile, I'll go out a mile. You have to modify your criteria in order to pull up properties. You have to understand, the more specific you are, the least amount of properties you're going to get. It's just how it works. Let me see if I can pull up something for you real quick. Yes, sir? I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? Let me just do this real quick. Let me do this, please. I'm going to run this search really fast, and I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to run a search real quick to bring up a property, and I'm going to pull some comps for this property. I just chose a random property, but this might be your subject property. I want to find comps for this property, and it brings in those comps. And what you want to do is, when it brings, oh, we actually found properties with no comparables. You guys see that? So this is the person who asked. You guys are lucky. We actually pulled up something that didn't have any comparables. So what I want to do is I want to change my criteria. I'm looking within a mile, but I did tell it to ignore the bedroom, bathroom, and the pool. So I'm really not asking for much. A lot of times I will change the year. Most time when I search for comps, I'm looking for properties within the last 6 months. This one is, I will go back a year. I've never gone back further than a year. I might want to tackle that. The lot size, more 50% more, 50% less than my subject property. Modify the criteria here. And we're right now in the IMAP. I showed you guys in Realist, when you want to modify your criteria, where's my Realist? That you need to, let me bring up this property here. Come on, bring up property. Okay. When you're in comparables and you want to modify the criteria, you have to come here on the bottom right here and click on modify to modify your criteria. So we have comps on this property, but the other one we did not have comps. So let's say you had that issue in Realist, then you want to come here and extend your parameters and then just click on submit. So change the distance from the subject property, or if you're using year built, take out year built, or just change your criteria that should allow you to get more properties. And let me go back here. If we're in IMAP, the criteria is right here in the center of the screen. We have no comps for this property. That must be one of those. Let me do 2 miles back and see what happens. Update my criteria. Wow, where is this place in the Boondocks? I just clicked on one of the properties. I had no subject property. That could be just land. Thank you very much. Thank you for catching that. I probably picked a property that did not have, because I did a map search and I just chose everything. So I mean, I have every property type. All right, yeah, let's look for a property that actually has information. Yeah, that's land. Sorry, person. It was what I chose. See, there you go. I did them search. I did not. Let's just try 40th Street. Really? What did I choose? Look, it's public land. Out of everything I could have chosen, I chose property that is just land. I've never done that before. Here's something, right? Oh, come on. Promenade. Oh, I'm near the promenade. All right. Oh my gosh. I couldn't have chosen a worse area. Go to Power and Light. Let me get out of this. Let's get out of this, okay? And let's look for a use code and just say we want the, that's ridiculous. Thank you for catching that. Land use. Where's land use? It's not in this list. This is a tax search, right? Has a fireplace? Yeah, in Florida, lots of them. Every house, right? Owner occupied. Florida residents. You can do a search for when you do search for properties. Um, you might want to look for properties where the owner is not in Florida, maybe absentee owner. You choose that option here. Like when you do a search here, owner in Florida, and you're gonna get yes or no. No, they're not. That means that's an absentee owner. Owner is U.S. resident. Yes or no? I'm in a really here. Property use code. Let's try that one. Oh, I had it up there all the time. Let's see. All right, so I'm pretty much certain that we got a property here. We have a winner. All right, so I want to click on, I want to find comps for this property. I'm going to click on comps here, find comps. And you guys get the gist of it. If there are no comps that come up, you have to extend your criteria. Start eliminating certain things, like if you use the bedroom bath, or if you're looking within a quarter mile or half a mile, extend it. If you're looking 6 months, extend it to like a year. Different things that's going to bring up. The whole point is you want to find properties. Your comps mainly come from properties that have sold recently in near your subject property. That's what comps is all about. So you do want to extend your maybe something hasn't sold in your property in your area within the last year. Go back a year. Maybe the properties that your subject property is a 4-bedroom. Maybe the only thing that sold within a year was a 3-bedroom. Extend that and take out the bedrooms and see what's out there. And then once you bring the properties up, back in the day when I did comp search, I always used square footage. And with the tax database, I would probably use it too. I would probably use square footage because it's documented. I'm going to just choose a property. I thought I did. Didn't. Well, here are my comps. That's what they are, my comps. They pulled up just that many. And again, I hope I answered your question. Person who had that question about if you can't find comps for your property. What was your question again? Question?
My question was, so where it says N R,
Yes, yes, yes.
selected, you selected R.
Right.
That's the field we use.
The and the or is if you're doing a search for properties, maybe a sale date of whatever you type in here for the date, you know, and it has to have a price of whatever you put in. So you leave it on and. Um, or if you don't matter, a sale date of a certain date or the price. Or I'm just using those as an example. Maybe a sale date greater than, let's say, 1/1/2017. I think it's okay. I think I have to put my zeros in here. Yeah, it's telling me. Right, but it depends because you can use multiple criteria, but do you want both those things to be part of it? For instance, if I want properties that sold this date or properties that listed or were built, I want either or. It doesn't. You don't have to necessarily focus on just this date. I also want the properties that were uh, built this certain time frame or what have you. If you want them both to be part of your criteria, you keep it on and. You leave it on and. I want all the Smiths, and those Smiths have to have a year built of a certain date. But if it doesn't matter if they're a Smith or whatever, you still want the properties that were sold date. They don't have to necessarily have to be a Smith. Then you choose or. Right, you could do that in here. Yes. So the and or, you'll notice, and what you want to do is, if you use and you're not getting enough properties, try or so you can see the difference in the type of properties you'll get. I don't know if you've ever had a check with multiple names on it. My name is Kamera. My husband's name is Alan, and it says this check goes to Kamera and Alan McGriff. We both have to sign that check. If it says Kamera or Alan McGriff, then either or. So that makes it more flexible. You get more out of the or than you do and. I hope that helped out a little bit. All right, so let's see. We spend a lot of time on the search screen. And what I'm going to do now is an ML. This is a tax search. Tax information comes straight from the tax database. MLS search comes straight from whatever's on the MLS. Look at that. Only Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach is going to show here in Port St. Lucie. Whereas then when you're doing a tax search, you're going to get all those other counties. You guys see that? That's good to know, right? Also in Realist, oh, come on, I'm closing this. All right, in Realist, let me, again, we're back to this. Yeah, I'm going to have to close that report. There we go. I don't want to close out on our people who are, oh, I think I answered the no comps. I hope you got that. All good and from us, all three portals. Okay. What is that one? All three portals pull the same property, so comps would be the same. Oh, Jonathan's answering that one. Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, ma'am. That is true. But this is the thing, though. Why would you eliminate the bedrooms and baths? Back in the day when I used to work at CoreLogic, and someone called me and said, Kamara, I need help with how to do a CMA. I never looked at the bedroom. I focused more on the square footage because you can have a 3-bedroom the same size as a 2-bedroom, a 4-bedroom the same size as a 3-bedroom, and that's why I would do that. And then once I pull up a certain amount of properties, I would then look at after the square footage, then I would look at the bedrooms and baths. That would not be my first choice. Square footage has always been my first choice when it comes to comparing properties side by side, but you might do yours differently. I do yours differently. So we're back in our search screen. We're in the general tab here, but we want MLS search, right? I'm going to choose MLS search here. Click on open. So now we have MLS search in Realist, and we have MLS search in the IMAP. And let me make sure I covered everything in Realist, though, because I did not. I'm sorry, guys. Remember in IMAP, I showed you guys the menu on the left. When we pulled up properties, that menu was on the left, comps and the map and all that drawn right here. In this program here, the Realist, don't forget you have your little legend here on the left, your little tools on the left here. On the right here, where, remember I told you could choose, this is where you choose your map. The map kind of, when you draw a map, let me point this out to you. When you draw a property in the map here in Realist, it's kind of, I would say it's like when you're searching in God bless you, kind of like when you're searching in a matrix, but this is kind of different because I notice when I do select like the radius, and I let me click and go in some. God bless you. Let me clear my shapes. Let me zoom in some. I'm trying to work the screen where I can get more space here. Well, let's say I zoom in. I'm double clicking to zoom in, and I choose a shape. Let's choose this one. We'll keep it simple. And I click on the map and I drag it. The whole map moves. That's not how this one works. They want you to click there and then draw it out. In Matrix, you have to click it and hold it down, drag it, then release when you're done. In this program, you have to click in the map and just drag. Don't release the clicker and just pull it out, and then click to select. Once you're done, just click to select. And Matrix, you click to drag and then you release. But in here, you have to click, and I think it's very important that I show you that. This line tool is pretty interesting. I don't know if you guys ever noticed this. Let's say you have two properties, which I don't have two properties selected. Let me clear my map and see if I can bring up two properties here. Clear this out. In fact, I have a few properties. But let's say you want to see how, let's say there's a property here, and you want to, let me zoom out some. Where are my properties? So I can have some actual properties here. There they are. Okay, here's one. Let's say you want to see how far this property is from this little intersection. You click on this draw tool here, the line here. You see that line tool here? Right here. I can click that, and I need that to close. I can click, and I can, yeah. And I just, once I draw my, make sure once you click, you release the clicker and just, draw your line and then click there. It'll tell you the distance from there to there. Yeah. Yeah. This is great. Look at that. And look at that. I'm just moving my mouse. That's all. I'm not even clicking. It shows you the distance. If you have multiple locations, how far is from there to there, different houses. And you just click, keep clicking. Look at that. What about from here? From there to there, yeah. And what about from there? What's the round trip distance? So it does show you that. That's one thing I didn't know. I just wanted to show you that about that map. When you have to click, release, drag out, and then click to end it. And then that line tool I thought was pretty cool too in it. Annotation is cool too if you want to add a note. Let me see what else is in here that is good to note. Oh, this one's nice too. If you want to know the elementary schools. Look at that. Shows you where the elementary schools are. And you can, just make the selections you want. You want to know the zip codes there? It'll show you the zip codes, the neighborhoods, or what have you. So again, both of the programs are really sweet, very nice. Utilize both of them. You don't have to pay extra for them. You guys are going to have a 90-day trial coming up. All of you guys are going to have a 90-day trial. I believe your broker is going to allow you to have that 90-day trial where you can check out Matrix and Flex for 90 days, and then you make your selection on which one you want to use. But while you guys are also using Flex, if you want to try out Realist at that time, you should have access at that time to try it out. Okay? Maybe I'll come in and do a Matrix class after we get that. Vote. For that 90 days, you will be able to use both. Because both of them are available to you now. At one time, you just had Matrix, and then that'll get a Matrix. The Flex people, assurance. I like my Flex. I want to keep my Flex. Or you know what? I'm glad I had a chance to try Matrix. I like Matrix, or vice versa. They're not stuck in one program now. I'm sorry. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. They don't have Realist. They don't have Realist. They don't have Transaction Desk. And they don't have a free web page with Matrix. But Flex has some free stuff too. I just don't know all of them. They have that one property watch, I believe, which is pretty cool. It's almost like a campaign drip, if I'm not mistaken. That's a cool feature they have, program they have. Yes, sir. You guys who are Miami, you got those two options, Rapatoni and Matrix. Yeah. But Greater Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach is. You're going to have 90 days to choose. Can you guys just give me a sec? I have to take this real quick. This is my very important call I got to take. I do thank you guys for holding while I continue. My class is leaving now. The ones who are here, they said they got enough. And I'm not going to be offended because I hope you guys did get enough. You got enough out of it? Okay, good. What was your question? My mic is on. You want me to turn it off? Turn it off, okay. For holding. Someone wanted to ask a question without the mic. Um, you guys, someone asked a question about foreclosure sale. Foreclosure sale. I'm gonna go IMAP because that's what you have. Okay. Oh, you're about to leave. Okay. In IMAP, when you do your foreclosure sale, here are the options you have. Don't forget you have these features. And what is that one that everyone likes? Judgment sale date. Yeah. Judgment sale date. Right, but judgment sale date, meaning that's the date that the judge ordered to sell the property, right? So of course, if you going to use a date, you have a calendar here. What do we want to look up? Properties that's going to sell in December? Well, we don't want that. When he made the judgment, we want to know when it's going to be sold. So we're going to look at a future date. If I'm not, you're looking for is that going to be closed? That's going to be sold, be put on auction at a certain date because the judge said, yeah, you guys. That is true too. The ones before, that's true. But if you want a future date, you need to choose that date. But if you want to know what's in list pending, what's in or greater than. Right. What field was that? List pending. Well, this right here actually looks up. List pending is actually that field. List pending is in a tax search. Let me go back to text search. And you want list pendants. Would it be there? We could do that too. I guess I'm looking for the field called list pendants. See that's here it is. Oh, they did put it over here. Oh, okay. I'm so used to everything being in just one tax screen. They have it separated in here. Okay. List pending, what date did you guys want to look up? Or yes, it's list pending, but what about a date? That's how you want to do it, by zip code? How about we choose, I like this feature here. How about we choose an area, a city? Okay, we could do that. That's on the beach, you say? 33062. And start your search. We have 319 properties. What do we want to do that? Download the results? Want to create mailing labels? Or price. Did you guys, okay, everything what was that? Oh, God, I should have clicked on revise. What was that zip code again? Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it's there. And we wanted, 250, let's go 200 to. Okay. So guys, you guys know I just clicked on back and lost everything, right? Try to get in the habit of using refine search if you need to just modify your criteria. All right. So what did you want to do at this point? Create mailing labels or? That's the use code you want then, single family home? Refine. Property use code, single family home. 17 properties. What do you guys want to do at this point? Let's see where they are on the map real quick. That's where they are on the map. I clicked on map. I was on the spreadsheet view here. Here's the map view. Now, if I want to create mail labels, I would do that at that point as well. But you guys might want to download the results. But you know, if I just click on the property, it brings up the property information. I would click on one that says N/A. Really? Let's go back and do it in just a minute. Yeah, I know. Oh, you like that, huh? Huh? I'm almost certain I was in Flex one day and saw it. In IMAP, it's right on the right. Pictometry. That was a pretty neat feature, right? Let me go back to my results. I'm sorry. Okay. When I was in the pictometry? Pictometry showed me the different area. Okay, we didn't do a search on foreclosure, but I can. This is foreclosure we just did, right? Did you want to see pictometry of this one? Did you? Oh yeah, that was that little push pin. That was that little push pin here. Uh-huh. Oh, you wanted to, at that point, you want to put a date. You have to put in a date. Yeah, if you want to see what is currently uh, the most recent foreclosures, you do want to put a date. That's all way you would know. We want to refine our search. Let's go back to, I don't want to really do a new search. Let's go back to results here. You guys already know what's going on there. And then we want to refine our search. Okay, and what was it again? I'm sorry. Multiple cities. Now, if I wanted to, so with that though, you have to make sure. I would put that on contains basically. Um, uh, let's try. I'm thinking equals to will work better for that. What city? Sunrise. And let's see what comes. Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that either. Come on. Okay. No, so it didn't like that. Let me try contains this and that. I don't know if it's this and that or that. Oh, let's do this here. Let's do this. Contains tamarack or whatever we want to choose there. And let's choose another one. That's all. Because we want this. But I would probably put this in or right here. And let's see what comes out. What did I just do? Starts with, starts with, starts with. Oh, but then look at this. So I don't know. Maybe that's the problem. There we go. Did you see what I did? I put or next to both of them to make sure there's no conflict. And I took out that, well, the price is still there. So I chose property city twice so I can put in multiple properties. If I had more than one property type, I'll just, maybe I have a third property type or city, I'm sorry, property city. Yeah, that way you can choose as many as you want. We had what, 261? $261, yeah. And what was that you had mentioned before? You okay? Okay. Revise. And what field did you want to use though? Did you want to use the judgment sale date? Okay, what date did you want to use for the 6 months is, what are we in? We're in November? We're in November, so we're looking at what, May? 100 hours. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. All right. Do you want it forward or you want it? You want 5 months out? Okay. There we go. We'll just choose a random. I could have put the first, but we'll just do that. No matches. What if we say a judgment date of what? Yeah. What if we say what did we say February 1st? Okay. Nope. Let's try something like, that's the sale date. That's the, yeah. When did the judge say it would be sold if they don't pay? That's what I'm thinking that is, unless you guys know something. Or we can also go back though, guys. I mean, this is great about it. You can try different things. Let's just see what comes up. It brought up some properties. So let's look at the report. Auction date. Look at that. Look at the auction date on this. Sales information. This one sold date was this. Look at that, was deeded. But I'm thinking it should have. I don't want to use my bag. Right. We want to go forward. And I'm thinking that's the correct fit. That makes sense to me. You guys got all your questions answered? You're welcome. Are you guys going to try Matrix when you have the opportunity, or no? Well, that's what I usually say. If you've been using Flex, you're going to continue using Flex. But I will tell you this though: if you really want to understand it better, go to a class. That way, we can show you how to use it more effectively. Because when you're doing it on your own and you're like, I don't have time for this. Let me go to a program I know. Um, yeah, at least you try it out for them. It's free, 90-day trial. It's a free 90-day trial. I'll be training in the board unless Jonathan or Jeremy have me to come back out. I'll come back out. Hmm? I thought I tried that one, but we'll see. And you know what? That would be great because it's closer too, right? Let's try it here. I have no idea. Are we actually looking at the right? We're looking at these two cities though. So I'm thinking if filing date is something that where they file it, right? The judgment date. Yeah. Let me take this out. Oh, you're welcome. Great. Glad to know. Thank you. Thank you guys for taking the time. And let's see what is going to be at the end of the month. It says nothing.
something. Oh, there's always
Judgment sale date.
something.
Oh, you know what? Let me try this here. But I said greater than or.
Go to a Thursday, because I think the auction's on Tuesday and Thursday. Date.
Well, that's a range. We're doing a range, so. Yeah. Yeah, I see. I have nothing. Okay. Is there a there should be a less than or equal to, less than, equal to, greater than. There is no equal. There is no range though. There is no range. This should be greater than is from this point to further up. That's what this represents. But it's saying that it's not showing the date. I don't understand why nothing's come up actually. I was able to put some up before. Hmm. There's a filing date, but that's the date it was filed.
Right.
Let's try this here. Let's try this. It was filed on the day means newly on the market. I mean on the there are no matches. Mm-mm.
You and I know there's also foreclosures all the time.
Well, well, this is foreclosure, so that's automatic. Single family. Judgment sale date to me was pending. And then I'm gonna put let's see what happens if I do this. I think we pulled up something before. 261? Yeah. 261. I just want to look at one of the properties here. The file date was then, auction date was then. Looking at the dates here. Oh, okay, good. I did go to list pending. I said yes, didn't I? I thought I said yes to that. Oh, I did. I thought I said yes to that though. I didn't even say that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Now let's try that again. 50. Sale date. That actually has a sale date.
No.
Yeah, but that right there is not gonna help. But let me try something else. Yeah, you do. Let's say the only thing I saw was just let's try this one more time. Try this one more time. Greater than today. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Did that, you'd have to go back to judgment. Go back to October.
It's gonna bring up records in that case.
Right. Went back. on the date, go back. So,
No, I understand. It's not giving me anything regardless because I said less than or greater than or less than or equal to and greater than or equal to. Nothing came up. I'm gonna have to have them to take a look at that field. I wonder if they deactivated it purposely. I'll go ahead and research that. What's your name again? Fred. Okay. All right. Thank you. And I have an empty class, and we're out of time. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Signing out.